For more, let's cross to Igor Zhovkva, the deputy head of the Office of Ukraine's presidency, a key advisor on all matters foreign policy. Many thanks for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you for having me.
It's still a long way to go when we hear your chief negotiator speaking there. Can we nonetheless speak of a breakthrough? Did it go better than you expected? What's your reaction to what happened in Istanbul?
Well, definitely we can regard today's result of negotiations as positive because, first of all, there were concrete proposals given by Ukrainian side, the proposals on the potential international treaty with the hard security guarantees for Ukraine by a number of countries. And this number of countries is also mentioned. It is definitely P5 members, as well as such countries as Germany, as Turkey, as Israel. So very important that this draft document is on the table. The Russian side took it for consideration, and they are telling now that they have to go back to Moscow to consider it and to come back with their proposals. But several provisions which are already there, we can regard this as they might be taken by Russian Federation. So very important that this issue of hard security guarantees is now heard and taken by the Russian side.
Lots of questions. That you had the Financial Times at the start of the day saying that the Russians had backtracked when they were no longer speaking of denazification. Can you confirm that?
Well, the issue of denazification was not today on the negotiation table.
It wasn't on the negotiation table, but if that's the language that the Russians are using, it matters.
Well, okay, they sometimes use different language, different officials, using different language. But very important is what is on the document. As a result of the negotiation, should be a treaty signed by heads of states, namely by President of Ukraine and President of Russia. And this is very important for us. The provisions which are today in the treaty are the most important one.
And do you think we're close enough so that there can be a face-to-face meeting between President Zelensky and President Putin?
Yes, today we heard the first confirmation from Russian officials that presidential meeting can be possible together with a possible ministerial meeting for initiating the treaty. So yes, they told at the negotiations, at the press conference, that this meeting is possible. This is the first time they officially confirmed the possible meeting between the presidents.
We heard at the outset the words of your chief negotiator insisting that there'll be no changing the border, that the Donbass won't be Russian, that they won't recognize Crimea as Russian. So where is the room for compromise? What do you think is enough for the Russians to sign on the dotted line?
No, I can only confirm the words of chief negotiator that we are not trading the territories. We are not trading any inch of the territory. As far as the status of Donbass is concerned, today you heard that this will be a subject of negotiations between the two presidents, and a very interesting proposal on the Crimea. But again, generally speaking, no inch of Ukrainian territory should be considered as Russian.
Why is it working now a little better that you are able to have, as you described it, positive steps, whereas up to now you haven't been able to?
Well, first of all, but definitely we should praise the mediation efforts of Turkey and the President Erdogan himself, who, appeared at the beginning of negotiations, appealing to two delegations. And secondly, maybe Russians at last took it seriously. So understanding that no use to drag on the time, no use to still expect some victories on the ground, and it's high time to start the real negotiation.
You heard our correspondent, our Catherine Norris-Trent, reporting from Kharkiv saying how the Ukrainians are on the counteroffensive and the reaction of the Russians has been more bombing and shelling. Do you believe Moscow when they say that they're easing up on places like Kyiv and Chernihiv?
Well, we have to look the real steps. I mean, this was an official statement of high-level Russian officials as a result of negotiations. So, I mean, in the ideal world, we should believe this official position. But I mean, I would like to underline that, in fact, if you take in the situation around Kyiv, for instance, the real offensive was not the case for the last several days or even week. So, I mean, this is fixing the reality. Again, would very like to see the concrete actions and to see that these statements are realistic, hoping for this.
And the Russians easing up around Kyiv, is that taking one step back so they can take two steps forward?
Well, you never know in Russians, but again, let's hope that today's positive statement on the part of Russian Federation will come true.
One final question, Igor Zhovkva, the status of Mariupol, besieged now for weeks, still more than 100, possibly 200,000 people trapped inside the city. Has there been any advance on a humanitarian corridor?
Then, well, we are managing day by day to evacuate more and more people. Now it's more or less, simplified at least than there was a case a week before when they continued the shelling, even along the humanitarian corridors, and people were forced to go by food sometimes, and we were picking them up far away from Mariupol. But the situation is still disastrous. So yeah, really, people need evacuation, and really appreciate the initiatives of some presidents. To help Ukraine in evacuating people from the area of Mariupol. This is what really needed, and this is what Ukraine would appreciate.
Yeah, we have Turkey, Israel, and France. Turkey, Greece, and France trying to work on Mariupol. The French president, who spoke to Vladimir Putin earlier, he's been speaking roughly every other day with President Zelensky, but he has spoken now 9 times with President Putin. Your thoughts on how the French are doing?
Well, the number of phone conversation is good, but what is more important is the result. But really, we are thankful for President Macron's initiative, together with other leaders, to help to evacuate. Now we are working with the French side on the concrete proposals, what can be done vis-a-vis Mariupol in order to help people. So people is the most important issue now, which matters in Mariupol and in all Ukraine.
Igor Zhovkva, Deputy Head of the Office of Ukraine's President, many thanks for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you.